Have you ever been watching football and suddenly realize, wait, he's still playing? Some football legends have been around so long they've outlived multiple teammates, managers, and hairlines. Today, we'll look at football icons who are still playing professionally. And trust me, you won't believe where some of them are now. Number 1. Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos' career is so long that he's practically gone through multiple generations of strikers. At his peak, he was the face of Real Madrid's back line, winning 5 La Liga titles and 4 Champions League trophies, including that 2014 93rd minute goal that probably still haunts Atletico Madrid fans in their sleep. Bro is the highest scoring defender in the 21st century with 126 goals. At his peak, he was valued at 60 million euros, and he spent 16 seasons at Madrid, becoming one of the greatest defenders in history, and definitely the only one to score 100 goals and pick up 100 red cards in the same career. Not officially, but it feels like it. At 39 years old, Ramos still looks like a beast, and he's still playing for a Mexican top flight side, CF Monterrey, where he's broed up with former Manchester United flop Anthony Martial. The man has refused to retire until every striker on earth has been personally traumatized by him. Number 2. Hugo Lloris. Remember when Hugo Lloris was Tottenham's captain, France captain, and one of the best goalkeepers in the world all at the same time? Yeah, he's still playing. Lloris' prime included a World Cup win in 2018, and another final run in 2022, where he narrowly lost to Messi's Argentina on penalties. His peak transfer market value hit 35 million euro, which is insane considering half the Spurs fans spent every week yelling at him on match days. But age catches everyone. Well, everyone except for goalkeepers apparently. Because at 38 years old, after 11 seasons as Tottenham's legend between the sticks, making 447 appearances and keeping 151 clean sheets, Lloris is now in the MLS playing for LAFC. Bro clearly didn't get enough of Messi at the World Cup, because now he's facing him all over again in MLS. A fun fact, Messi's already put 2 past him in their 3-1 defeat back in April. Number 3. Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva's career is the football version of rich in experience, young in the legs. Somehow. The Brazilian defender has played for some of the biggest clubs on the planet, AC Milan, PSG, and Chelsea, winning titles in every color in every league. At his peak, he hit over 50 million euros in market value, led PSG to multiple League One titles, and later helped Chelsea win the Champions League in 2021. All while being old enough that some of his teammates probably grew up watching him on TV. Silva is now 41 years old, older than Manchester United's manager Ruben Amorim. To put that into perspective, most players are long retired by this age. Legends like Toni Kroos, Zinedine Zidane, and Wayne Rooney were done by their mid-30s, all retiring around 34-35. But not Thiago Silva. Instead, he shocked everyone by returning to Fluminense in Brazil, where he's still playing top-level football and somehow remains the calmest defender on any pitch. While most players retire quietly, Thiago Silva is still out there dismantling attackers who weren't even born when he debuted. Number 4. Marco Verratti. Marco Verratti is the kind of midfielder who could control a Champions League quarter-final while looking like he should be taking orders at an Italian cafe. Nicknamed the Little Owl, he was the heartbeat of PSG for a decade, winning 9 League One titles and forming one of Europe's smoothest midfields. At his peak, Verratti earned around 14 million euro per year, and his playing style drew comparison to Xavi, which is funny because Barca tried to sign him more than once, only to be rejected like a teenager asking his crush out after exams. Verratti was never about goals. He was about impossible turns in tight spaces, angles nobody else saw, and fouls that occasionally made referees consider career changes. Now, 33 years old, he's no longer sending through balls to Neymar and Mbappe. Verratti now plays in Qatar for Al Dahil SC, where he's still running midfield with the same calm confidence, and hopefully fewer yellow cards. Number 5. Arturo Vidal. Arturo Vidal is what would happen if you crossed a pit bull with a sports car and then gave it a mohawk. One of the most aggressive and complete midfielders of his generation, Vidal dominated Europe, starting for Juventus, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona, winning titles in every country he touched. At his peak, he was earning around 18 million euro per season, making him one of the highest paid midfielders in the world. And worth every penny for managers who appreciate a player willing to slide tackle his own grandmother to win possession. There are so many iconic Vidal moments. The long-range goals at Juve, the Bayern demolition runs, and, of course, that missed penalty against Real Madrid that still has Bavarian fans drinking extra strong beer. Now, 38, Vidal plays for Colo-Colo in Chile, where he's still terrifying midfielders half his age and probably still collecting more tattoos than yellow cards, which is saying something. Number 6, Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud has had one of the most dramatic reputation glow-ups in football history. At one point, he was the striker who doesn't score. Then, suddenly, he became the guy who scores jaw-dropping goals, scorpion kicks, volleys, backheels, headers, you name it. Giroud is the definition of a late bloomer. His most decorated and influential years came after turning 30. He won the 2018 World Cup, multiple FA Cups with Arsenal and Chelsea, the 2017 FIFA Puskas Award, and even the Champions League, all while being criminally underrated every step of the way. At his peak, Giroud was among the highest paid strikers in Europe, and despite the crisis, he remains France's all-time top scorer, ahead of Thierry Henry, something that still keeps Arsenal Twitter awake at night. Now, 39 years old, Giroud plays for LAFC in MLS, where he's proving that he can still score goals and age like he's sponsored by French moisturizing cream. From being mocked online to becoming the ultimate late career legend, Giroud is the blueprint for never letting your haters have the final word. Number 7, Hulk. Hulk was built like a bodybuilder, named like a superhero, and struck the ball as if it owed him money. After exploding onto the scene at Porto and later earning a massive move to Zenit, he became one of the highest paid footballers in the world, reportedly earning over 20 million euro a year at his peak. His left foot produced some of the most violent goals ever recorded. There are goalkeepers who still wake up at night thinking about those Champions League screamers. Now, 38 years old, Hulk is back home at Atlético Mineiro, where he has reinvented himself yet again. Even in recent seasons, he has continued putting up strong goal contributions in Brazil. He remains one of the most productive veterans in the league, scoring, assisting, and occasionally reminding defenders that shoulder to shoulder with him feels like getting hit by a motorcycle. Number 8, Edinson Cavani. Edinson Cavani was the ultimate no-nonsense striker. Hard-running, intelligent movements, and finishes so clean they should have come with a warning label. From Napoli to PSG to Manchester United, he delivered everywhere, racking up over 430 career goals. At his peak, Cavani earned an estimated 18 million euro a season, and he deserved every bit. PSG once had Mbappe, Neymar, and Cavani together, and there were games where Cavani was still the most clinical of the three. Now, 38, Cavani plays for Boca Juniors, where he's still scoring important goals and leading the line with the same intensity that made him a defender's nightmare in Europe. Even late in his career, he has delivered goals and standout performances in Argentina, showing that elite strikers never really lose their instincts, only their pace. And Cavani still hasn't lost much of that either. Number 9, Dimitri Payet. If football were judged only on pure entertainment, Payet would be in every Hall of Fame on earth. His free kicks were so good that goalkeepers used to adjust their walls and still get embarrassed. His 2016 Euros run, where he carried France at times, remains legendary. After shining at West Ham and Marseille, Payet became one of the most creative and unpredictable playmakers of his era. At his peak, he could turn any match into a highlight reel. Now, 38 years old, Payet plays for Vasco da Gama in Brazil, where he has continued to contribute goals, assists, and playmaking moments that light up social media. He may not run like he used to, but the technique, still ridiculous. Number 10, David Luiz. David Luiz is football's greatest paradox, capable of looking like Paolo Maldini one week and Sunday League the next. But when he was good, he was unbelievable. He won the Champions League with Chelsea in 2012, the Premier League under Antonio Conte, and multiple trophies with PSG, Arsenal, and Benfica. At his peak, Luiz earned around €10 million per season, and managers loved him because he could defend, pass like a midfielder, and start attacks from the back. Sure, sometimes those attacks went the other way, but we don't talk about that. At 38, David Luiz is still playing at a highest level. He's currently at Pafos FC, where he's become a key veteran presence in their squad. And despite his age, he's not just filling space. He recently scored a Champions League header against AS Monaco, his first UCL goal since 2017. Luiz still brings the same leadership, long-range passing, and yes, the occasional heart-stopping defensive moments that made him unforgettable. Even now, he's proving that class and experience don't fade. They just evolve. And there you have it. Some of football's biggest names who are still out there, lacing up their boots, scoring goals, and bullying defenders. Which one surprised you the most?